What's up, everybody? It's your boy OG CornDawg back with some more hip hop news. Today's subject we got today is Lil Zay Osama facing life sentence for a cryptocurrency kidnapping. Yo, man, what's up with you, bro? On a real note, man, like, come on, bro. You got too much money to be playing these games, making these rash decisions to try to get rich. You know what I mean? But yeah, we gonna go on and check out this video here. Shouts out to my boy EOS 1090 Jake. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into the vid.
Lil Zay Osama is back in federal custody. He's facing forever and a little extra. His career might be over after a superseding indictment was just unsealed. A federal grand jury in Chicago has indicted 7 men on robbery and kidnapping offenses for allegedly participating in a violent home invasion in Winnetka, Illinois last month. Winnetka is one of the most expensive suburbs in the Chicago
Yeah,
area,
that's a nice
with
house.
many luxury homes showing a median
What?
price of $2 million, with the most
Oh, what y'all doing over there? You know where y'all come from. You know, you type show up over there. Yeah, man. And no cops didn't call, man.
famous being the Home Alone house from the 1990s classic. Roughly 20 miles from downtown Chicago, this wasn't the type of area you'd see Chirac drill rappers sticking someone up.
Yo.
But as we all know, you can never be surprised when it comes to Chicago.
Right, you
U.S.
right about
attorneys
that.
received
You
search
right.
warrants within 12 days of the home invasion, but kept
12
them under
days.
seal while continuing to obtain evidence to identify and arrest additional defendants involved in the
The 12 days of evidence that came and got you that fast. Whoa, y'all must have had some holes in your plan or something.
violent incident. The superseding indictment charges 24-year-old Deshaun Brown, 24-year-old David Franklin, 22-year-old Anthony Ramsey, 28-year-old Isaiah Dukes, 30-year-old Keel Dukes, and 23-year-old Jalen Chambers.
You see, all you got that whole crew and probably more in it. Uh, First of all, you're liable to get snitched on the more people you do the crime with. Second of all, if you hit a lick, you got to split it up. You guys are stupid.
With conspiracy to commit robbery and kidnapping in connection with the home invasion that took place March 8th. The 7th defendant has not yet been filed into the paperwork as he was just arrested. Now everyone knows Isaiah Dukes is none other than Chicago rapper Lil Zay Osama. And Keel Dukes, aka Big Folks, would be Zay's older brother. Anthony
Okay.
Ramsey, aka Lil Ant, is also said to be related to the brothers. No stranger to law enforcement, Zay was indicted by the feds after leaving a Glock with a switch inside of an Uber in New York City. He'd controversially be sentenced to only 14 months in federal prison and would be
14 months for a switch? Yo, and I know that probably happened in Chicago. I don't know what y'all laws is like, bro. That's probably why y'all have so much trouble out there in that city. Yo, if you get caught with a switch out here from where I'm from, Los Angeles, that's a wrap for you, bro.
released in late 2024. Now obviously, 14 months for a switch is nothing and made plenty of people start to wonder, but after carefully looking through his federal paperwork, I figured out his low sentence was literally just due to having a great lawyer, Don Florio.
He
But
ain't good
this
looking.
case, this is gonna need a fucking miracle. According to the indictment, Franklin and Big Folks communicated through phones about using a stolen vehicle to commit the robbery. The next day, Brown then drove Franklin, Chambers, and 2 others in a stolen vehicle to a home belonging to 2 victims, named in the indictment only as Victim A and Victim B. While on the way to the home, Chambers communicated with Zay to discuss the plan for the robbery. Once outside the home, Brown walked up posing as a food delivery driver to cause an individual within the home to open the front door. Armed with loaded weapons, Brown, Franklin, Chambers, and 2 others forced their way inside. They'd all pull guns, attempting to rob Victim A for his crypto. But the paperwork doesn't clarify if Victim A was actually home, only that he was the one they intended to rob. Instead, they physically restrained Victim B, keeping him captive while aiming guns at him. They demanded he give them access to the safe, computer, and any online accounts holding crypto. While inside the home, Chambers would again call Zay, who provided instructions regarding the information needed from Victim B to obtain the crypto. Big Folks would also receive a call by one of the conspirators inside the home as the attempted robbery took place. All of the men then fled the scene, meeting up with Zay, Big Folks, and Lil Ant, who according to the paperwork searched them to make sure everything they took was collected. Apparently they made off with $111,300.
Wow.
Split 7 ways, that's roughly $16,000 per person. The only problem with that is a federal trial lawyer can cost anywhere from 100 to 500 fucking thousand if you plan on taking it all the way.
None of y'all can afford that. Probably Zay, but the rest of the crew can't afford that. The the feds, their crime conviction rate is over 90%. Bye. Yep, y'all out of here.
This paperwork is clearly alleging Zay sent some crash dummies to rob a crypto kid who they probably thought had millions that could easily be transferred without a trace. And that sounds good until you find out the feds have every text, call, and GPS location from every cell phone present. They know who made calls from inside the home during the time of the robbery. They know who texted what. They have the entire timeline of how this was planned and executed. And for kidnapping, all of these men face up to life in federal prison. For interference with commerce by threat of violence, up to 20 years. So mathematically speaking, all 7 of them were willing to risk life plus 20 for $16,000 a piece.
Oh man.
Now the biggest factor in this
Absolutely stupidity right there. Right there in your face. Even oh man. You guys, I don't know what you guys are doing. And I see that these criminals are evolving because now they're trying to steal crypto from people, which is crazy. But yo, man, you guys need to sit down and try to at least write out your plan and burn it after that, because the plans you guys are coming up with, that spontaneous, yeah, it's stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like that Pooh Shiesty shit with Gucci Mane. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was stupid. This sounds like some most stupid shit. It's crazy.
This case is going to be the victim cooperating, which obviously he already is. Otherwise, no one would have known a home invasion took place. But if he is able to identify anyone, if he's had any previous relationships with anyone tied to Zay or Zay himself, that kind of information is the nail in the coffin.
Sure
Some
is.
way, somehow, someone knew they had a shitload of crypto, most likely in the millions, and they came for it all.
Oh.
But here we are again, for the second time this year, speaking on a rapper who crashed out in a robbery turned kidnapping. The major difference between Zay and Pooh Shiesty is it would seem Zay was directing orders over the phone while Pooh pulled out the damn Draco. The feds are going to have to prove Zay was actually directing this on how it needs to go down, and that means the feds are going to do their best to get one of the 6 other men to fold, cooperate, and reveal it all.
The more you got in your crew, the more chances you getting ratted on.
Now I can imagine this whole scheme sounded great as they were thinking of it, right? Oh, we got this kid, he does crypto, da da da. Mind you, this kid probably does his little scams, whatever. They're thinking we're just gonna rob him. He's not gonna say nothing. Everything's gonna be good. This kid might be involved in some illegal shit of his own. Fuck that. This kid gets robbed, fully calls 911, whatever he has to do to report this situation. Otherwise, they never would have found out.
Right.
And I don't think they understand how fucked they are in a situation like this. This is a Fed case. And already the feds are revealing they know who went where. Because your cell phone is a GPS tracker. They know who was talking to who at what times. They know when the robbery initiated. They know when the robbery ended based off of when they went in the home and when they left the home. How do we know that Brown was posing as a food delivery, whatever, or Uber Eats?
Right.
9 times out of 9, that came from the kid that they robbed. I opened the door. I thought it was Uber Eats. That's what he said. And then everyone pulled out fucking guns asking me for my Bitcoin. Sounds like this kid is fully cooperating. Like I said, if this kid knows who Zay is, if they've had any interactions, which is how they were able to obtain the information that this kid has mad crypto, they might be fucked in this case. Otherwise, Zay is going to be able to afford the best lawyer, as the rappers always do.
Right.
His lawyer is going to try to pick this shit apart. The phone calls claiming Zay was instructing them on how to do this and that, whatever. Because I mean, to be fair, right? If you call my phone and you're like, yo, how do I like send crypto? And I'm like, oh, you
Hold up. You mean to tell me they saying somebody out of his crew called him to find out how to transfer the money? So whoever's there basically didn't know how to steal. Criminals are getting dumber and dumber.
you just need this and that, and you do this and that, and that's it. And they hang up. I don't know if they're in the middle of a fucking robbery. I don't know what they're doing. They just called me and asked me about some damn crypto. But in that sense, you would kind of have to admit to having that conversation. Zay's lawyer, I'm sure, is going to be able to figure this out. And to be honest with you, as much money as Zay be dropping on jewelry and everything else, it's hard to imagine he needed this. I can imagine the other guys being broke as fuck.
Right.
But not Zay. Zay lives out in LA. He doesn't live in Chicago. He's been escaped Chicago.
No, he got his ass out of here.
Why would he need to even be involved in this situation? The whole Pooh Shiesty and Gucci thing, it wasn't about the money, it was about the contract, which technically made it about the money. But he took all that other shit just to add disrespect to the situation. Versus in this situation, what the fuck are they, did you think you were really gonna get off with 10, 15 million in crypto?
Right.
And just bust that shit down with the homies and nobody was gonna figure nothing out and that kid wasn't gonna say nothing about it? Like, these crypto kids love getting next to the rappers and love acting like they're doing this crazy shit. Like, there's a lot of kids that come from money and then figure out a way to turn their parents' money into their own money, but they want to like sell drugs and shit just to feel like they're living that lifestyle, as if they made it and they can relate to the rappers. And then they get around the rappers just to get robbed by the rappers.
Right.
So the major thing in this, we're barely seeing any information. Everything that I gave you in this video is the subtle layout that the feds have given. More paperwork is gonna drop. We might get pictures, surveillance, we don't know what the fuck we're gonna get. But there's gonna be a lot more shit that's gonna come out. I'm gonna keep y'all updated and in tune about the situation.
Do that.
We're gonna see how bad it is. I'm not gonna say anything sounds good though, because anytime the feds indict you, you're kind of essentially looking at some time. How many people have we really seen walk away without getting time from the feds? How many people haven't had to sit down for months, if not over a year, fighting a Fed case? This is gonna put him away for a little bit. Definitely the other people he was with. And like I said, if they're all broke as fuck and the feds are like, hey, you're facing life plus 20. We don't even want to give you 30 years. best we can do is like 20, and you at least get to like go home at some point and not die in the feds. But you need to cooperate. It's pretty fucking likely someone's gonna take that opportunity. Sadly, that's just what it is. And everyone knows this when they get into these situations, but it's kind of like a gambling addiction, right? You know there's a chance you could get away, and if you get away, you know you could get away with possibly millions. In this case, it was only 111,000. That really ain't
It's a
shit.
big risk.
7 ways, that's 16 a piece. That ain't nothing. That's bill money if you got money. You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens. I'll keep y'all updated. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all rocking with me. Till next time.
There it is, folks. Yeah. My take on it, um, I'm gonna just say that Lil Zay Osama, if you did this, bro, you gotta be one of the stupidest motherfuckers out there. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a bunch of other dummies out there, Pooh Shiesty, just, for example, you know what I mean? Like, you got to be stupid, man. You got money, man. You got enough money to be comfortable for a while. You know what I'm saying? I mean, your crew, they might not have got as much as you, so I'm probably looking at them like, this is something they did. You know what I mean? Like, but your brother was involved. They got him, tracked. They checking phone texts and all that, talking about the plan. You know what I'm saying? And that's your brother. You know what I'm saying? You might have a possibility of knowing about what was going on. Maybe he told you he got a lick going on and he about to do this and all that. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, this is crazy, dude. This is really crazy. I can only say that for you to get out of this situation, if you didn't know the guy that they were trying to rob, and he says he had nothing to do with it, you know what I'm saying? And I hear 1090 Jake saying if even if you knew anybody that was in that crew that came for you that can link, the friendship to Lil Zay Osama, like I don't know about that part right there. But if he knows you personally, dudes, you got a problem. The fact that this is the feds, the conviction rate is outrageously high. Um, they waited 12 days to stack evidence. They wouldn't come for you for nothing. You know what I mean? So they might have something on them. Who knows? We have to wait to see what's coming out next. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna leave it on that note right there. This your boy CornDawg. Yeah, appreciate everybody that tuned in, tapped in, and subscribed. I want to say again, please, everybody, please share, like, and subscribe. I'm new out here in these YouTube streets. I made it to 42 subscribers. Did it in 1 month. I'm proud of that, but try to make that mark. You know what I'm saying? Help me do that. Uh, everybody stay safe out there. You know what I'm saying? Peace, love, and soul.